Assalamualaikum and very good day to everyone. My name is Afifah Binti Suffyhani with matrix number 22301080. Today, I'm presenting on a topic that's very close to our identity as Malaysians, which is different voices, same language, how dialects makes us unique. So these presentations will explore how dialects, too often overlooked, are a powerful reflection of a culture, heritage, and unity in our diverse country. Now let's start. So, before we go in depth, let's begin with a basic distinction between a language and a dialect. First, let's start with a language. So, Henry Sweet, a linguist from 1990, has described language as the expressions of ideas by means of speech sounds combined into words. It's the full system we use to communicate. So, language has a standardized form, written system, and is recognized as a distinct by its speaker and others. While a dialect, on the other hand, is a variation of that language they used by a specific region or group. It includes changes in pronunciations, grammar, and vocabulary. So, according to Maldonado, Garcia, and Sandu, a dialect hasn't reached the social or political status of a full language, but that doesn't make it any less rich or important. So, when we talk about Malaysian dialects, we're not talking about incorrect Malay, we're talking about authentic, living expressions of identity. I want to talk about dialect in Malaysia. So in Malaysia, Bahasa Melayu is our official language and it's used in education, government and the media. But if we really listen to the way people speak across the country, we will quickly realize not all Malay sounds the same. So from Peninsular Malaysia to Sabah and Sarawak, Malay takes on different forms, each with its own sound, rhythm and vocabulary. So these variations are what we call as a dialects, and they are more than just a cool slangs. So dialects reflect our background, our values, and how we connect with our communities. So for example, the Malay spoken in Peninsular Malaysia is already diverse. So people in Kelantan sound completely different from those in Johor, but when we cross over to Sabah and Sarawak, the differences become even more noticeable. It is not just in pronunciation, but in tone, vocabulary, and even rhythms. So these dialects have been shaped by many things such as indigenous language, colonial influence, trade, migration, and local traditions. So, the diversity in Malay dialects is a key feature of a Malaysia's multicultural society. Now, let's go to the next slide. Now, let's proceed with Peninsular Malay. So, as I mentioned before, Peninsular Malay is commonly used in a government, media, and education. Now, let's take a closer look at the dialects of Peninsular Malaysia. So, even though all states use Malay, each region adds its own twist, such as creating distinct dialects with unique sounds, expressions, and slang. Some example I have here, in Kelantan, people say kawe for saya and gapo dia for apa dia. In Kedah, you will hear hang instead of awak, and cek as a polite way for women refer to themselves. While in Terengganu, they say guana for macam mana and demo for awak. So Negeri Sembilan uses term like then and ekau, influenced by Minangkabau heritage. So this vocabulary is often shaped by Portuguese, English, and Arabic loanwords, reflecting the colonial and Islamic history of the region. So these dialects aren't just used in the conversations, so they are deeply rooted in the performing art like Dike Barat and Boria, keeping them alive through rhythm and storytelling. Now, let's go to the next slide. Now, let's talk about Sarawak Malay. So Sarawak Malay sounds very different from what we used to hearing in Peninsular Malaysia, and that's part what makes it so special. So the intonation and rhythm of Sarawak Malay are unique. It's often described as a smoother, more relaxed, and more drawn out compared to the sharper or faster tones of Peninsular dialects. So it has a distinct flow that is instantly recognizable once you hear it. So one of the most well-known features of Sarawak Malay is for vocabulary. So for example, kami is used instead of saya for I, and kita replaces awak for you. So these aren't just a different words. So basically, they are a reflection of the indigenous influences in Sarawak, especially from languages like Iban and Bidayu. So these influences give the dialect its own personality, separate from standard Malay. So you will hear Sarawak Malay spoken widely in Kuching and the surrounding areas, mostly in informal, everyday situations with a family, friends, in market, or even on a local social media platforms. So for people outside of Sarawak, the dialect might sound unfamiliar or even hard to understand, but for Sarawakians, it's a source of a deep cultural pride. It's not just a way of speaking, but also it's a marker of identity, of home, of community. It tells you where someone is from and what they're connected to. Now let's go to the next slide. Now, last but not least, Sabah Malay. So Sabah Malay is just as unique and full of personality. So it's a mix of standard Malay, indigenous languages like Dusun and Kadazan, and even some modern slang. One of the most iconic features in the use of bah for emphasize friendliness or expressions. You will hear it everywhere, such as tidak bah, boleh bah, or okay bah. So Sabahan Malay is fun, expressive, and very connected to the local way of life. It's also widely used in online content, memes, comedy, and TikTok, making it a dynamic and evolving dialect that reflects the modern Sabahan voice. Now, let's go to the next slide. So, unfortunately, while these dialects are very much alive in our daily life, such as in home, in markets, and among friends, they are rarely heard in national media or classrooms. So TV shows, newspaper, films, and official platforms mainly use standard Malay, leaving Sabah and Sarawak dialects mostly on the sidelines as if they don't belong in the national spotlight. While in school, these dialects are often discouraged, with students being told to speak proper Malay. This may seem harmless, but it can slowly make young people feel embarrassed or ashamed of the natural way of speaking. And this sends a harmful message, such as that their local dialect is not good enough or not correct enough for education or public use. Even worse, Sabah and Sarawak dialects are sometimes wrongly labeled as a broken Malay, when in fact they are a complete linguistic system with their own rules, structure, and deep cultural roots. This kind of language bias doesn't just affect how people speak, but it affects how they feel about their identity. It can lead to low self-esteem, loss of cultural heritage, and disconnection from one roots. But in reality, these dialects are anything but broken. They are rich, expressive, and meaningful, and like every dialect in Malaysia, they deserve respect, not rejection. But despite these challenges, dialects continue to bring Malaysians closer together. When we hear someone speak our hometown dialect, when we even far from home, it creates an instant connection. It's a reminder that we share something special. So dialects are often used in performances like DK Barat in Kelantan, Boria in Penang, or Sabahan comedy skits. These are not only entertain, but they also preserve tradition and bring diverse communities together through shared humor and experience. We also see a code switching in Malaysians. It naturally shifts between a dialect, standard Malay, English, and other languages. This flexibility shows how dialects are not barriers. To end this presentation, let's remember this. So dialects are the lifeblood of our communities. From the east coast of the peninsula to the rainforest of Borneo, every dialect carries memories, values, customs, and identity. When someone says kau, aku, or kami, they're all saying I, and that's a powerful symbol of unity in diversity. By valuing dialects, we preserve culture, fight language bias, and strengthen national unity. So let's speak proudly in every voice from every corner of Malaysia. Thank you.